Om Shuklam Varadaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyaye Sarva Vignopashantaye Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vishlavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay, so we're going to start looking at the 15th chapter. Okay. It's really a very all chapters are important, but 15th chapter is something very special. You'll see it when we go through it. But I would say it really encapsulates the teaching of the Gita. What is the essential teaching of Gita and henceforth the scriptures? So what Gita teaches is what is there in the scriptures. So really, whatever Shastram has to say regarding us and our connection with the Lord is presented here. So it's an important chapter. We often recite the whole chapter before eating. They'll often do that. Also, whenever anything special you want to recite, the only time to recite one chapter, 15th chapter is a good chapter to recite. It's called Purushottama Yoga. So it is a chapter that helps us Purushottama with the Lord. We'll see when we complete the chapter, we'll see how this title is so apt for this. So the chapter begins by giving a metaphor of samsara. And the metaphor is in the form of a tree, the Ashwatthama tree. I sent you a picture of this, if any of you saw it. It's a very interesting tree. It's the botanical name is Ficus religiosa, and it's really a fig tree. Fig tree. It's like they're like banyan trees. So they have these adventitious roots that come down. You have some of these trees here. Our Flamingo Gardens has one big one. Even some of the botanical gardens in Sarasota, they have these big banyan trees. And what is very interesting in these big ones, which we all seen, is that you really can't tell the trunk from the roots after a point. Originally, there is a tree that comes up, and there is a trunk, and then the roots, adventitious roots, come down, and once they enter the ground, they again become trunks, almost as big as trunks. And so, after so many decades and years, centuries, you almost can't identify sometimes which was the original trunk. And so this is very interesting to see this. And you'll see how the samsara is also like that. The tree is likened to a samsara. Samsara vriksha, it's called. Getting this some kind of echo. It's called samsara vriksha. So we'll see what this is. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Urdhvamulamada Shakham Ashwattham Prahuravyayam Chandamsi Yasya Parnani Yastam Veda Savedavit. So the unique thing about this tree, just imagine if you are in this tree, which is big Sometimes it spreads all over. And you're trapped inside. You don't know which is the beginning, which is the end, which is the first trunk, etc. And sometimes it can spread for yards and yards, square acres. You're trapped in it. And this exactly is the nature of the samsara. This is a tree which has its roots on the top, urdhva moolam. Normally trees have the roots at the bottom and then the tree comes up. This is a tree. When they observed it, you saw that the roots are up, urdhva moolam, adaha shakam. And the trunk, the branches, etc., are below. The roots look like they are coming from the top. This moolam, samsara is like that. So we are trapped in this samsara, like being trapped inside this huge banyan tree. You can't get out. That's why I sent you that picture. You can see the roots. If you're caught inside that, it's a trap, permanent trap. Udvam is above, in the sense above is always unseen, represents the unseen. So the moolam, the karanam, what is the cause of samsara? We keep asking this. So it is mithya, rupam, it is maya karyam, etc. We say the cause is, so the original cause means the unmanifest. Unmanifest, that which you don't see above. So this mula karanam, the cause of samsara, like even the roots of the tree that come from above, are unknown to us. They are unmanifest. Then they become manifest. When they become manifest, they come down in the form of branches. So the shakam becomes adaha. It is seen. So the trees, the branches, etc., refer to the experience samsara. The roots are a metaphor for the cause, which is maya shakti or maya karanam. In this, we know. See, unseen is also Bhagavan in a way, not known. I can take the Karanam as that also, even though Maya is the immediate cause. But then Bhagavan is also unseen, even though known. I recognize there is something, but what it is I do not know. So he says, this Shakam is what? So Mahadadi, all the bhutas, all the manifestations of the elements, all the beings, all the non-beings, etc. All of these constitute the shakhas, the branches of the tree. He says Ashwatham Prahu. This tree is called as Ashwatha tree. Why Ashwatham? Ashwatham, Shwaha means tomorrow. So that which may be there tomorrow, it may not be there tomorrow, in the sense. So manifest and unmanifest. We don't know. We don't know whether this experience, samsara, is going to be there tomorrow. Every time I go to sleep, it's tomorrow. Tomorrow is not necessarily the future. I don't know if I'm going to wake up and I'm going to experience this world of experience again. So it may be there today, tomorrow it may not be there tomorrow. It is Ashwathamaha, Ashwatham, Prabhu, also Avyaya. That which is, so that Navyati, that Avyayam, it is called Avyayam. But here Avyayam means that which is, so Anadikala. It is from beginningless time. And this samsara continues also until there is a solution. If there is a solution. But other than that, once the branches come and become trunks, you don't even know which is the starting point or the end point. We always want to know when it all began, really speaking. And that question is exactly like the chicken and egg question. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Really speaking, there is no answer to that because it is in the form of a circle. It's in the form of manifest and unmanifest. So even the question itself is not a valid question when we ask, oh, which is the first life, which is the first karma, which is the first ignorance, etc. it is a circular thing. So Chandamsi Yasya Parnani. Parnani. Okay, so this is the tree in which I am caught. But then this tree has one saving grace is there. So which are the Parnas are the leaves. So the leaves are what? The leaves are like the leaves is Chandas. Chandas is the Veda. Okay. Veda, what do you mean by Veda? Well, it is knowledge that has to do with so many things. So primarily dharma, dharma. What do Vedas talk about? They talk about dharma and adharma. Because dharma, dharma is involved where we are concerned. It is a factor that we have to contend with, right and wrong, because of free will, etc. So these are the one. It is the knowledge of that which is right and wrong, dharma, dharma. Then later on also, so what is nityam, what is anityam, what is permanent, impermanent, what is atma, anatma, etc. All this is what is conveyed to us by this body of knowledge. So thus Veda becomes something that protects us, like even the trees, like even the leaves of a tree protect us from the harsh weather. Really, it's amazing, We know here very well. So in the summertime when it's so hot and you just stand under a tree, that's why, in the parking lot, the most difficult spot to find is not near the building. The most difficult spot to find in the summer is under a tree, even though far away. I'll park far away under a tree, and then I walk in the hot sun, beating up on my head because I suppose I value the car more than I value my head. Looks that way, but that is the leaf. It really makes such a big difference. So also in the heavy rains. So they are like chandas is like that. The Veda, the knowledge that we get is the one that protects the jiva. Chandamsi yasya paranani. Yaha tam Veda. Yaha tam Veda. Sa Veda. The one who knows tam. What is that tam here? It is the Veda. The one who knows the Veda. What do you mean by the one who knows the Veda? Is it enough to just know? A lot of people may know the Veda. It's like saying everybody knows the Gita. Who doesn't say they don't know Gita? Everyone says I know the Gita. They can also maybe recite the Gita. You memorize the Vedas. You can do Parayanam, etc. But that is in itself not a Veda with it. That is not a person who knows the Veda. In a way, he knows the Veda, but then it is Vedartha with the one who understands the meaning that is conveyed by the Veda. It's not enough to just know. Know, one can pray. It can become a prayer like Parayana, which will give punyam. But really speaking, it has a message to convey. And that message is something that we need to know the message. Otherwise, what's the point in it? Even gaining some punyam is not good enough. So the one who knows Tam Veda, Sa Veda, the one who knows the meaning, really that is conveyed by this, is the one who's the one who knows. अधश्चोर्ध्वं प्रसृतास्तस्य शाखाः गुणप्रवृद्धा विषयप्रवालाः अधश्च मूलान्यनुसन्ततानि कर्मानुबन्धीनि मनुष्यलोके. So here the Gita changes a couple of verses. Adascha urdhvam prasritaha tasya shakhaha vruddhaha vishaya pravalaha adha cha mulani anusantatani karmani anubandhini manushya loke. He says adascha urdhvam prasritaha tasya shakhaha. These are spread out. Up and above, above. Adaha, urdhvam is up, adaha is below. So up and above and below, the where does this tree spread out, the branches? In the lokas. This is the upar and niche loka. The lokas are all the worlds of experiences. So we have either heavens and the lokas below and the prithvi in between. So he says this is something that is spread out all over. Adhaha cha urdhvam tasya shakhaha. Prasitaha is spread out, pervading. Guna pravriddhaha vishaya pravalaha. What is it? Guna pravriddhaha. These are constituted of what? They are born of the gunas, the three gunas. What do you mean by world of experience? Samsara. Samsara is made up of all the three gunas, Rajas, Sattva, and Tamas. Are it's a manifest experience in a varieties of ways. That is what we mean by experience. Experience is not just one thing. Experience is many things happening. I see the multiple. I perceive the whole varied world. I also think in different ways. I don't just think one thought. I might as well just think one thought all the time, but no, I think varieties of thought. I feel varieties of feelings. I have varieties of ideas, and I experience through varieties of senses, varieties of objects. So all this shabdadaya, so all the different objects of experience that are experienced through the various senses, etc. But born of the different gunas, sattva and tamas. This is where everywhere, up and below, he says. Okay. Vishaya pravala. These are like the new roots. These are also not just branches. Then from the branches you have new branches coming out, etc. It just spreads. That's the idea. Adhacha mulani anusantatani. And what is it that keeps it going? Keeps this tree going. Your tree has to keep growing. That is part of the whole thing, part of the experience. So here he says, Adaha. Adaha is in this loka. There are many varieties of lokas also. So there are lokas of experience and there are lokas of what I call as karma lokas. Loka where you do karmas, where you gather more karmas and more karma phalam. And there are lokas where you experience them primarily. Like even in our own life, in the waking world, I generate new actions and new results. Whereas in the dream world, I don't generate anything new. If I kill somebody in my dream, it's not that I have to wake up and then go to the like a good citizen. I don't go to the police station and confess to my crime, because that is what? That is just a bhogya sharira. That is whatever happens in a dream. I am experiencing the results of previous actions. Whatever happens in the waking is something that generates new actions. Similarly, are the lokas also. There are varieties of lokas. In some of them, I just go and the jiva experiences the world of experience. And in Adaha, in this Manushya Loka, Adaha is the Manushya Loke. There is what is called as Karma Adhikara. There is a adhikara to do karma. So only place where we can generate actions that will give results. That's why it is important to see some of the things we do, karmas we do, even for others, even for the departed. That's why Shraddham and all become meaningful, because I can generate actions only here. Once you go, then it is only Bhoga Bhumi, experiencing the results of actions done before. So if at all I have to undo something, I cannot undo it anymore. I can only undo it while I'm alive in this world, or somebody else. Somebody else. My hope is that somebody else's prayers is going to undo some of perhaps my or mitigate to some extent my karmas. That's why for us in our culture, this all becomes very important. So people want to have progeny, that will do something to for karma wise also. So thus he says, Adahacha Mulani. There is Anusantatani. What keep it? What kind of Mulani is this? Karmanu Bandhini. Bandhini Mulani. So here, this is another Moolam. Moolam is a Karanam, right? Previously also it says Urdhu Moolam. There is one cause above, which was the Maya Shakti. There is another cause also, kind of a secondary cause that keeps this whole tree of samsara going, and that is the karmani. Okay? Those are the karmas. Another cause that keeps the tree going, once it is there, is because of all the karmas that are done in manushya loka or in loka where one can do actions. Okay. न रूपमस्येह तथोपलभ्यते नान्तो न चादिर्न च सम्प्रतिष्ठा अश्वत्थमेनं सुविरूढमूलम् संगशस्त्रेण दृढेन चित्वा न रूपम अस्य इह तथा उपलभ्यते न अन्तः न च आदिः न च संप्रतिष्ठा अश्वत्थम एनं सुविरूढमूलम् असंगशस्त्रेण दृढेन चित्वा. Actually, it continues with the next words also. We'll see that. So, na rupam asya iha tatha upalabhyate. Iha loka, in this manushya loka, I have this experience. I keep on going. The jiva keeps on going, life after life. This is so what do you call it? Samsara chakra, caught up in this chakra. So he says, asya rupam na upalabhyate. What is its real nature? What is the nature of this tree, etc.? Where does it come from? Where does it go? What is the beginning, the end? Is nothing. This is something which I cannot recognize. Being caught up in it, it's something like, it just reminded me. So because of this chakra, remember you have this merry-go-round. So we used to be on this merry-go-round as kids. You stand on it, right? And then it goes round and round and round. And what happens when that happens? That is like the samsara chakra, really speaking. When you are in it, all you need to do is step off it. But then you don't step off it. What do? You hold on to it naturally, because you're afraid you're going to get thrown off. So you hold on to it tighter. So this samsara chakra seems like that. Whatever we keep going through it, however miserable we are, we seem to want to just hold on to, or even the unknown seems to be better. Even the known seems to be more tolerable than the unknown. Like the old shoe, it keeps falling apart, starts having holes, but still difficult to give it up, because not that the shoe is comfortable, it is we become comfortable with the shoe. So he says the nature of this is not easy for the jiva, for the individual to recognize, he says, because the beginning, the end, the roots and the trunks, the branches, everything gets all mixed up and everything looks the same, like that tree, he says. This is anirvachaniya, maya rupam, that's why very interesting definitions for the word maya. It is something that is, so maya shakti, it is in the form of a shakti. Then we start visualizing some kind of a shakti that is there. Then he says it is what is the nature of this shakti? Can you describe it to me? Well, it is anirvachaniyam. It is something that cannot be described. Why? Because whichever way you describe it, it is not adequate. It doesn't really tell you what it is. In fact, so then what is it? Well, it is yama. It is that which is not. Then this is, so all these kinds of definitions are there. Nothing seems to make it very clear. But then he says, you want to get out of this tree, right? I'm stuck in the trunks of this tree. What is the, am I going to get out of it by inquiring about the past and the future? Or is there another way to get out? What is the process? It's interesting. So if I'm stuck in a tree, I'm looking for a process to get out of the branches and the tree. Well, the more I try to get out, the more I get stuck in it. So by trying to figure out which is the way out. So he says, you can't get rid of samsara like that. You cannot get rid of samsara by a big inquiry into the nature of maya or the nature of mithya. You really have to figure out what it is and transcend about it. He says, Ashwattham enam suvirudha moolam. See, enam ashwattham, this particular tree of samsara, he says, asanga shastrena dridena chitva suvirudha moolam. So he says, this along the tree, I have to destroy this tree. The tree has to be destroyed. The tree of samsara I'm caught up in. The tree of this has to be destroyed. How do I destroy it? He says it has to be destroyed along with the roots. Along with the roots. Not just the branches, obviously. If I destroy the branches, it will just keep growing. What is the root here? He also said root is something which you don't know. You can, it's all Maya, Mithya, Maya, Shakti. It is that kind of a root. It's interesting. And I have to remove this root now. Along with the root, the whole tree. He says, Asanga Shastrena, Hridena Shastram. I need a weapon to cut this tree. And what is the weapon here? It's a weapon which is very dridam. It is sharp. You need a sharp weapon to cut the branches. What happens if your weapon is blunt? Well, the blunt sword, you try to cut a branch, the sword will break, not the branch. So I need the sharp weapon of the form of asangaha. Asangaha is so that which is so the sword of detachment. This is. He'll explain it later. So it is vairagyam. It is a viveka vairagya. So he says asangatvam vaishayika ragaha is sangaha. It's an attachment to vishayas, a longing that we have a longing for the sense objects. Okay. Why is that? Why is that? Well, it's not just to experience. We are born to experience the world. Fine. So that can be just an experience. But then this experience brings up issues of ragas and dveshas, likes and dislikes. So the same objects of the world are there. Bhagavan, there are so many fruits, right? So if the jiva is meant to enjoy fruits, so all the jivas are going to be born and they're going to eat all the fruits. And then there should be no problem, except perhaps in terms of the availability. But then here, it's not that simple. We develop ragas and dveshas. We develop likes and dislikes. This is what is called as sangaha. In fact, this is the samsaritvam. Samsaritvam is not experiencing the world, because I can also experience Bhagavan's world. But then here, it's the world that makes me feel limited, that makes me feel unhappy. That is what is called as samsara. So this world of samsara, which is centered on sangha, which is centered on all these ragas and dveshas connected to the world of objects, I have to free myself of that message. That is what traps me in samsara. So I don't need to really destroy samsara. I don't really need to break the tree down. I need to know how to separate myself out from what is experience. And that, he says, is in the form of asangatvam. It is in the form of developing the detachment from the ragas, the longing that I have, hoping. Why do we have this longing? because I have the hope that the objects of the world are going to give me fulfillment. Okay. That is why, otherwise there's no need for it to be there. So I have a hope that the world of objects is going to make me happier, make me better off, make me more content, etc. That is what gets me tied down to the world, he says. Okay. Hridena Chitva. So this cutting of the tree really is in terms of understanding what is this asangatvam. Then what happens? Tata padam tat parimargitavyam yasmin gatana nivartanti bhuyaha tameva chadyam purusham prapadye yatah pravrittih prasrita purani. So tataha padam tat parimargitavyam. Tataha means thereafter. Okay. Having gained this asangatvam, which is vairagyam, in other words. Another word for that is vairagya. Born of viveka. Vairagya always needs to be preceded by viveka. Real detachment cannot be born unless there is I cannot force myself to detach from something. That will only increase the longing, not the longing. Everybody has that experience, right? When you're teenagers, your teenager likes somebody, and then you don't like that person, and you tell them that you please detach yourself from this person. What happens? They become more attached. Yeah. So you should never say detach yourself. You should say please attach yourself, and it's good for me. Then there is a chance they might detach. So this attachment, detachment only, without preceded by viveka, it is just a reactive thing. It doesn't quite work. So here with viveka there is some degree of vairagya, not total vairagya, some degree of vairagya. Then what happens? He says tataha. The next is tat padam parimargitavyam. Then parimargitavyam, natavyam. Then one with this particular mind, then one please come to gain. Jnatava means come to know about that padam, or come to know that padam. Padam is so that end. Okay, padyate, gamyate iti. But the word padam means that which padam. This padam is feet also. Padayatra we do, but padam is also margam. The that which takes you to a particular end. End is also called so padam. So the end that is reached by walking is so gamyate. Padam also means to know. So that which I come to know or recognize is also called as padam. So that he says that by which something is known is also called as padam. The means. So the means is also called as padam. The end is also called as padam. So padam means many different things. Okay. So here he says what is the real end point of all of this? Okay. Having gained detachment, I detach from something. Detach really, you have to attach to something else. Okay. But because I have not reached a sense of fulfillment, so what do I seek ultimately? That particular end is the end that is being talked about, called as Vaishnavam Padam. So that is a Vaishnavam Padam, a final end. What kind of an end is it? Yasmin Gataha Nanivartanti. So the an end by from which a person doesn't come back. The one who has gone, the one who has reached that end, they do not come back. And oh my God, then what happens? I want to come back. There was a little kid who came to our house, and then I asked him, a 4-year-old, so are you going to come visit us again? They said, yes, I'm going to come visit you, but not for a long time. Not for a long. Clarify. It's only, it was 3 years or 4 years. Yeah, Balu's grandson. They say, not for a long time. I have to go back. I want to go back. So, do you want to go to an end from which you're not going to come back? You want to come back? No, no. Failure. This is an end from which we come back because we want to come back. But here is an end. There is no need to come back. It is an end which I reach where I don't feel any need to, in fact, come back or go anywhere else. That is what is called as Paramam Padam. Nanivartanti. Do not come back to samsara. That's the idea. Anytime I go anywhere, I think that by gaining certain ends, now this is going to be the final thing, right? But there is no final thing. I never reach a point where I feel okay. Now this is enough. We all have goals in life, but then we never reach our goals, and we can never reach our goals because by the time I reach one goal, then that is no longer a goal. Then I'm looking for another goal because I am never out of samsara. Samsara, out of samsara. It's a goal which gets me out of samsara. So why would I even want to come back into it? So na nivartanti tam eva cha adyam purusham prapadye yataha pravrittihi prasrita purani. Yataha pravrittihi prasrita. So this padam also has another characteristics. He says that from which everything there is everything has come. He says that from all samsara vriksha pravritti. See, it is an end from which the whole samsara has been born. I reach the ultimate end, he says. Yatova imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti yat prayantya visamvishanti. He says that from which all that you experience, everything has come. That which sustains everything at the same time. Everything goes away. Abhisamvishanti, that vijignyasasva, he says. Come to know that. What is to be known? He said earlier, Jnatavyam. This is something that has to be known. What is this end that has to be known? It is an end from which, so we all have come, everything has come, into which everything goes back again. Again, which is sustains everything, he says. That particular thing. Tad vijignyasa. And what is that? What is that? It is Tad Brahmeti. That end is also called as Brahman. In the Shastram, it says that. So, same thing is that end from which everything has come, into which everything ultimately resolves. He says, Adyam Purusham. That is what is called as Adi Purusha. That is the original cause, the Karanam. Aham Prapattihe. He says, I salute that. Who's saying this? So Bhagavan himself is saying this. What do you mean by that? That is for Loka Shiksha. He says. So if the Lord himself recognizes that, that means it is something for me to recognize. It's a way of saying it. Nirmanamohajit sangadoshaha Adhyatma nitya vinivritta kamaha Dvandvair vimukta sukha dukkha samnyaihi Gacchantya mudha paramavyayam tat. So, we know all of these, right? Yet, I hear Shastram. Everything is good. Everything makes sense. But then I don't seem to get it. People, we always have this complaint. Everything looks okay when I listen to it. So, but then afterwards, why is it not okay? It doesn't seem to, it doesn't seem to do its job, whatever I think it should be doing. So what does that mean? What are you saying? All that you say, is it true? Is it really true? Or is it something that just sounds true? Or is it something that sounds good? That's why I want to hear it. We say, this is the truth because we all want to hear this. Okay, there are so many things I want to hear, and so I'm ready to hear. And this, whatever Shastram tells me, it's like promises. So people make big, big promises, right? But then at some point you recognize that this is just what we call empty promises. So you lose faith in what the fellow is saying. Shastram also, whatever it seems to say, so seems to sound good for me. It sounds something that I'm looking for. It is desirable. But then does it really, is it true? Is it really true? If it is true, I should then see it as true. But I'm not able to see it as true. Or even it looks that way. So am I fooling myself? Is somebody else fooling me? Am I self-deluding? Or what is it really speaking? So there is an obstacle. There seems to be some pratibandhaka, something in my mind that that prevents me from seeing what is being told to me by the scripture, he says. So that is something that has to be dealt with, and that is what we call as adhikaritva. So that's a very important factor. Just keep in mind, different traditions present it slightly differently. This whole adhikaritvam business. So there are religions of faith that are purely faith based. So for them, what is required, really speaking, what does the scripture require of me in order for me to gain what it has to give me, right? Let's look at it that way. So there are many scriptures there. There are religions, what they say, of faith, of the book. What do they require of their whatever followers? Well, they require faith, they say, acceptance. So total acceptance of what you're being told. So here, so something is presented. Is that really possible for a person? Total acceptance means, so I can accept something which feels real to me. If it doesn't feel real to me, it's difficult for a thinking person to accept. If I start accepting something which doesn't feel real to me, it is a kind of a deception, really speaking. So it is we can deceive others, we can also deceive ourselves. So if what is being told to me, if what is expected from me is purely just acceptance without any questioning, then that is not going to be, is not really going to feel real for a thinking person. For a person who deceives oneself, then any deception is possible, really. So there is, one can live a whole life in self deception or in others deception. So but then here, what is expected of me? I have something that I hear, scripture has something to tell me. If this is not making sense to me, I am not being asked to asked to go into some kind of an acceptance mode of thinking, because I have to think. So here he says there is, though what is expected is a certain kind of a mind. Okay? Because something as true for any knowledge, when something is being told to me, jnatavyam, if something is to be known, then in order to know, I need a mind that is capable of knowing. So that particular mind that is capable of knowing is what is called as a adhikari mind. So all that is really required of me, other than exposing myself, of course, to what it has to say, is a mind that is able to recognize. And that mind is what is called as a mind of a adhikarim, is one who's qualified to know. Mind requires to have a certain kind of a qualification. Here it is in terms of maturity, what we call as maturity. So that maturity of the mind is something which is being pointed out here. Nirmana moha. Nirmana moha. So that one, a mind, he says, which is free from manam and moha. Manam is abhimanam. So abhimanam can be on one level, it can be ahankara, the sense of I-ness, which itself goes away by knowledge, by shravanam, etc. Or manam can be also pride. So this sense of pride that I know, which prevents me from, in fact, all pride prevents me from learning anything, really speaking. If I always think I know more than the person, learning always flows from a mind that knows to a mind that doesn't know as much. So, but then if the mind doesn't accept that it doesn't know as much, then it's not going to flow. If I think that, if the I think, the bucket below thinks that I'm at a higher level than the stream that is coming down, then the water is not going to flow there. So it is something like that. So the one that is free from manam and moha. Moha is so wrong thinking. Wrong thinking born of wrong conclusions. He says avivekaha. Just one. Jita sanga dosham. So the one who has jitam, who has overcome. So sanga dosha. Dosha is seen as a limitation or a defect of sanga. Remember, sanga was pointed out. Asanga shastrena. I need asanga. Asangaha means a sense of vairagya. So he says, Chita sanga dosha. This is so the dosha, the limitations born of all kinds of attachments to the world. He says, the one who has Chitaha, the one who is, you use this as conquered. Really speak, conquered is not a great word. Because to conquer implies a fight, sometimes. So conquest, the idea of a conquest implies a fight. Really speaking, one can't fight over longings. It is something one overcomes them by viveka. When there is viveka, one doesn't need to get into a fight. It is like, you how do you overcome an enemy? How do you overcome something who is inimical to you? I can either fight or I can what? I can overcome. Yeah. I can I can fight like in boxing, you fight. There is one kind of fighting to become victorious. There is another fighting which is called as like a judo fight. So judo is very different from boxing. In boxing, what happens? You end up with broken bones, really speaking. So because each one is trying to break the other fellow's bones. In judo, what happens? So really, they use the strength. So you use the strength of the other person really to overcome the person. Okay, you use the other person's strength to overcome the strength. It is very difficult to fight the world of objects outside if I get into a boxing match with it. That is the nature of samsara. But I can use its own strength by discrimination. Kind of overcoming is different. That is the Jitendriya, the one who is able to overcome their own limitations, he says. Adhyatma Nityaha. Adhyatma Nityaha, the one who is committed to seeking to know oneself. Adhyatma Jnanam. It requires a certain commitment. Otherwise, there's no time for it. Has to give time in order to learn. If I'm too busy, wrapped up in the world, then I'm not going to have time. It says, Vinivritta Kamaha, the one who, in whose mind the Kama, desires for Vishayas, again. So that Sangatvam has abided, has gone away. Dvandvaihi mukta vimuktaha to sukha dukkha samnaihi. Sukha dukkam. Means joys and sorrows. Dvandvas are the opposites. The world is made up of opposites. Like sukha and dukkam. There are joys and sorrows. There is heat and cold. There is ragas and dvesha. There's always opposites. There are two ends of a spectrum. He says the one who is freed himself from these two kinds of things. Gachanti amuraha. With a mind, with such a mind, a person who becomes amuraha, the one whose mind is not confused or deluded by wrong thinking. He says, avyayam padam, tat avyayam padam gachanti. So these are the people, adhikaris, who gain that particular end, the padam that was talked about in the previous verse. So something more he says about that end. न तद् भासयते सूर्यः न शशाङ्को न पावकः गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम न तद् भासयते सूर्यः. That dhamam, that end that is talked about. What is it? Is it a place now that I have to go? Vaishnavam Padam. Is it Vaikuntham? Is it Vaikuntham? Is it Kailasam? Which end is it? Is it some kind of a Swargaloka or Brahmaloka or whatever Loka it is? He says that end Natad Bhasayate Surya. Suryaha na bhasate. That is not a place that is lit up by the sun. By the sun. Means it's not a place, in other words. Okay. So what lights up? What light, the whole world that I experience because of sun. Okay. Because the sun lights it up. This Dhamma, this definitely is not a loka there. Place like a place that I am used to experiencing. The sun doesn't light it up, it says. Well, so maybe, maybe it is all dark there. There is no sun. There is no sun. Like at night time. Nighttime sun is not there. Still I do experience the world because of the moonlight. There is moon. So he says there, even it is not a dark, it's not a nocturnal place. Natat na shashankaha. Shashankaha is Chandra. Neither the moon lights up this place. In other words, it is neither day nor night in that particular experience. Then na pavakaha, nacha fire. Fire is the other source of light. Okay. So that lights up things. He says this is not place lit up by fire either, like in a cave, for example. This is odd. It's interesting. So Surya also represents the sense organs. Bhasayate Suryaha, like the eyes, the Adhisthana Devata, the presiding deity for eyes is Surya, for Chakshu. Chakshu stands for all the senses. So he says this is not a place that is lit up by the jnanendriyas that you have. This is how I know a place. This is how I recognize a place. He says, na shashankaha na pavakaha. Pavakaha is Agni. Agni, pavanam karoti. The fire is called pavakaha because it purifies. Pavanam is purification. Fire is a purifying agent. So which is why we use it for purifying metals and so on. So thus fire also is the Adhisthana Devata for Vak. Vak is speech. Okay. Speech stands for Karmendriyas. So thus it says neither sun nor fire light up this place. In other words, you cannot know this place either through your jnanendriyas or your karmendriyas. One cannot recognize this padam. Okay. You cannot experience this padam either. Then what about, maybe with the mind I can do that. This is na shashankaha, Chandraha. Chandra is the presiding deity of the mind. So neither by the mind. Yato, yan manasana manute ye nahur mano matam. So the one that is not recognized by the mind. Yad vacha nabhyuditam. Yena vak apyutyate. Right? You've been reading this. So that which the vak doesn't light up. In other words, all the sense organs, the mind, etc. I cannot access this particular padam, he says. Natad bhasayate suryaha na shashankaha na pavakaha yad gatva na nivartante. Earlier he said the same thing. So that's this end, going where, reaching this end, there is no coming back to a life of samsara, he says. Tad dhama paramam mama. That is my dhamam. That is where I am. So Bhagavan is in a place which is not a place that is really reachable. It is not reachable by any of our senses or any of our karmendriyas, not even by the mind. And in fact, it is not reachable because it is not away. It's not away. Already there. The only place which you cannot go to is what? You can go anywhere in the world. You can go anywhere out of the world. Place where you cannot go. And what is that place? That place is what? That place is where you are. Yeah, yeah. That's the where you are is the only place you cannot go to. So he says that is my dhamam, swarupam. Therefore, it is in the form of atma swarupam. There is nothing to go to. So having said this, he says, so he talked about the samsara vriksha. He talked about how to get rid of samsara vriksha. Then he talks about getting rid of it. What happens then? Where do I end up? Well, I end up at a place where, yeah, there is no real need to come back into this complicated banyan tree. And then now he will talk about so how that the Dhamma, Paramam Dhamman, or the cause of everything is one with Brahman, the Jiva Brahma Aikyam and the Jagat and Ishvara oneness. He will talk about now how that comes about. So, okay. Yeah, maybe I'll stop at this and then there's the next topic begins with the next verse. We'll see that. We talk about Sarvatmatvam Brahmanaha, the oneness of Brahman with Jiva. Then he talks about Brahman, oneness of Brahman with Jagat. And then he talks about what is that Purushottama. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnad Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om.